Hello again, this is Justin Bush with Fit for Life, Moving Fit for Feminine Fat Loss, and this video is on our last energy that we haven't covered yet, carbohydrates. So 3 carbohydrate concepts that you should know. Let's start with the easy and go to the slightly more difficult, which you may or may not know about. So first, the majority of your sugar or carbohydrates is stored in your liver. Okay, so glucose or sugar that you eat can be stored in your liver, and what's important about that in regards to moving fit for feminine fat loss is that sugar is readily available as energy, right? So if you remember from our fat video, we have our free fatty acids, so we have fat that's readily available to be used as energy, but then we have our adipose tissue, and our adipose tissue is not. Our adipose tissue has to be signaled from the body to allow the energy to be released into the bloodstream. Otherwise, it's holding on to it. Fat's one of those things, rarely do we wake up and just all of a sudden lost a lot of weight, right? Fat's kind of stubborn. So, the sugar in our body is actually readily available. So right now, as I'm talking to you, if a tiger were to jump out, I could quickly run that way. And the reason I can quickly run that way is because our bodies are designed to where sugar is literally, if you look at the cell, when you do a high intense activity, the body doesn't have time to process fat and convert it to energy so that you can then go, right? Fat's what you're using right now when you're sitting around, when you're doing something low intensity, and so forth. But if you have to go very quickly or move very fast for one reason or another, you may not necessarily have time to breathe, right? That's the whole point. So that takes us to our next one. Sugar is like high octane fuel, right? So fat could be compared to charcoal, right? So charcoal you burn, charcoal, if you happen to grill, you have to get some oxygen in there. You can't put the lid on too soon because then fire goes out. And another fun fact, charcoal, right, gives off smoke. So fat, when it's broken down, primarily is converting to carbon dioxide. So when you breathe, that's the carbon dioxide of which you breathe, because that's the only thing that you breathe out is fat. So let's get to carbohydrates. So it's a high octane fuel, right? So literally, as your oxygen goes down, the use of your carbohydrates go up. And eventually I'll make a video with an actual graph, which you can literally look at a graph, and it's linear, right? So here's the graph. So this is you at rest. And as you increase your heart rate, for example, so let's say you're building up to running a sprint, or you're running up a hill, your heart rate goes up, it goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. As it goes up, what happens? You lose your breath. And what's happening is as you're losing your breath, your body is transitioning from using your fats to using your sugar. And if you get to a full-out sprint, or you're running up a hill as fast as you can, you'll be using a much higher percentage of sugar calories than fat calories, right? And we're going to get more into that later, as I have some fun graphs for us to go over. So that's something that you want to know. Lastly, blood sugar levels, and this is extremely important. Our bodies are designed to maintain our blood sugar first. This always happens first. This takes precedence over everything. This takes precedence over burning fat. This takes precedence over maintaining your muscle. Blood sugar is king. I tried to draw a crown, but I am not a very good crown drawer, so it just didn't come together. But blood sugar is king. So your body wants to maintain a certain blood sugar level. If it goes too high, so if you have, let's say, 50 points more sugar than your body wants, it's going to take that sugar, it's going to shove it into your adipose cells, period. It's going to happen. Now it's going to take that and shove it into your adipose cells, but the actual hormone that's shoving it into your adipose cells is insulin, and insulin doesn't just kind of come and go. It's not quick. It lingers. So then what can happen is anything you happen to eat or consume after that tends to what? Go right into your adipose cells, okay? And it works the same way the opposite end. So let's say for some reason your blood sugar goes lower than the ideal level. What can your body do? It has two things, obviously, right? Because we have two other types of energy. So first, let's talk protein. First, your body can actually break down your muscle, the amino acids, right? Break down your muscle into amino acids, and your amino acids can be then converted into glucose and then can be stored as glycogen in your liver, right? So you knew this was going to come back on local lines here. So that's what you want to know, is that, especially when you talk about exercise and activity and how often you should exercise and the fact that you need to recover, is that you can tear through this muscle. And the reason you're tearing through this muscle, not only because you're using it, but because you're also tearing through, if you're exercising a lot, a significant amount of sugar. So if you're not eating properly and following whatever nutrition guidelines that your nutritionist or functional practitioner provided you, then your body will say, hey, you know what? I need some sugar. I need it now. I'm going to tap into this muscle. I'm going to convert it to sugar. And now you have less muscle than when you started. And in regards to burning fat, muscles are friends. So we don't necessarily want to just lose fat in our path to exercising to reach our goal weight. Okay? And then, so that was protein, fat. Now this is that one that we actually do like. Now, if you remember from earlier from a fat video, fat can only be burned what? In the presence of oxygen, right? Now that's true, but there's a component of stored fat that can be burned as sugar. We're going to talk about that, no worries. But I want you to understand that both protein and fat, a specific component of fat, can be used to replenish your sugar if it gets low, or if it goes below the level that we want. Okay, so before I get too ahead of myself, let's shut this video down now, and I'll see you in the next one.